Welcome back to episode 2 of our Money Dialogues conversation. We shall be discussing peer banking. We learned in the previous episode, or episode 1, that Chamas are very important, and we were talking about Chamas. I am delighted to be talking or having these money dialogues with Mr. Joseph Kanani, our lead financial expert on money dialogues. Karibu sana, Mr. Kanani.
Thank you so much. Karibu tena.
Wow. So we've discussed Chamas in episode 1. So episode 2, we are talking about peer banking.
Yes.
So what is the difference between a Chama and the peer banking?
As we stated in the previous episode, growth is very important for people, especially in the informal sector.
Yeah.
And the first step, everyone starts, especially a lot of the people from the villages, is the merry-go-rounds. And we say it's not bad, but that is the first step.
Yeah.
The next step is going to Chamas. And we discussed about Chamas. We saw their benefits. We saw how useful they have been in Kenya and in other places. And the next step that we want to go to is to peer banking.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking at how can we convert every Chama to become a peer bank.
Yeah.
Yes. So the difference, again, as we had stated earlier, at this level, now we'll have to have a higher level of thinking. We have to have firmer and stronger structures.
Yeah.
And we'll have to probably maybe look at things in more depth than when we looked at just the Chamas.
Okay, okay. So explain now peer banking, because now we are elevating from the Chama into peer banking.
Yes.
So I have me and my 10 girlfriends. We want
Yes.
to get into peer banking.
Yes.
Explain that.
Okay, so I'll use 2 illustrations to explain that. One, the reason why a lot of people are poor, because you remember in the last episode we said that 99% of the world's population, that is about 7.9 billion people, live in poverty, and their resources are equal to the resources of the 1% at the top. And the reason is because we do not, or rather the poor people are not able to retain the returns from their labor. Because you find most of these people, for a source of income, they sell their labor.
They sell their labor.
Yes. They get a paycheck, and then they use the paycheck to buy goods manufactured by the people in the 1%. So they'll always be at that level.
Yeah, true.
So how about we looked at what makes these 1% reach or control the resources of the world? And the reason is simple. It's because they control capital.
Yeah, true.
So even the poor people, the moment they start controlling capital, then they're able to generate an income and even also retain the returns of their labor, generate an income and reinvest that income for more income. So in the first part, looking at peer banking, so we are talking about the majority of the people who are coming from the Chamas to the peer banks, being able now to control the capital that will generate income. And then the second way to look at it, everyone knows what a bank is.
Yeah, true.
A bank is a place where we go, we deposit money, and then we can withdraw the money to use, or we can take a loan from that bank. A bank has several characteristics. One, the amount of money that you deposit earns an interest.
Okay, true.
And the amount that you borrow is also charged an interest. And as we discussed in the previous episode, if you take a loan from a bank, you are likely to be charged between 18 and around 20-something% interest on the money you borrow.
Yeah, true.
But if you deposit your money in the bank, the highest they might give you is 6% on your return. Yeah, that's a very big discrepancy.
Yeah.
Then another common thing about the bank is the bank doesn't have its own money. The money that it lends you
is the money
someone
deposited
else,
in the bank, and then they lend me that money.
So in other words, they use our money to make money.
Exactly.
And when we need the same money or to borrow someone else's money, they give it to us. They tell us that it is very high risky, They tell us the economy is not looking well. They tell us the probability of starting and succeeding in a business is low.
Yeah.
So they deny you the loan. So now if we combine those two scenarios, where now the peers have come together, a peer can be a group of, like you said, your 10 girlfriends, colleagues at work, or friends. But in this case, I want to distinguish friends from just the drinking buddies to what we'd call common goal friends.
Common goal. Like, let's say if we have an idea, me and my girlfriends have an idea of, like, we want to start buying plots.
Exactly.
So we can do peer banking.
Yes. So there is a common goal.
Yes.
So, but if one person is thinking in this direction, another one is thinking in that direction, I mean, you can't go very far.
Yeah.
So when we combine that aspect that now we won't have these peers convert their Chama into a peer bank, then we'll now borrow the characteristics of a bank. The bank has to have deposits. But now we as the members, we are making those deposits. And we can call those deposits our savings.
Yeah, true.
Second thing, a bank lends money. So the same money that you have deposited now can be lent to the members.
Exactly. The peers now.
The peers now.
Yeah, true.
And since already we have a common goal, or we are well educated and we are elevated in our level of thinking, whatever money I'm borrowing, I'm going to use it to acquire what now we are calling capital, or a production tool.
Exactly. True.
Something that will generate income in future. In other words, most people borrow to do business, but there are also certain people who borrow to consume.
Yeah, true.
Because the moment you borrow money to go and furnish your house, or buy a car for you to travel to work with, or just buy clothing, that is borrowing for consumption.
For consumption,
And unless you are employed and you know that that is where you'll get the income to pay the loan from. But in our peer bank, we are encouraging people, instead of investing in, or rather instead of consuming, you invest in a production tool that will generate income.
Income for you.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Then, since you have to pay money back to the peer bank that you have borrowed, you'll have to pay it at an interest.
Of course, yes. Just like a normal bank. Only
Just
now
like
that
a normal bank.
It is us coming together. We have better structures. We are more enlightened.
Yes.
We have a common goal.
Yes.
And we are looking for cheaper, let's say, access to capital.
Exactly. Cheaper
as opposed to banks.
To banks, yes.
Okay, true. And even more, let's say even more available, because if I go to a bank today and they need a collateral of like 20 million, I don't have that money. But maybe I can, I don't know, something. It is cheaper. For me, it makes a lot of sense in that it is cheaper, it is accessible, and then we have a common goal.
And it's also cheaper compared to a Shylock.
Oh,
Very cheaper compared to a Shylock.
Yes.
And cheaper compared to microfinance, because microfinance will also ask you for a collateral.
Yeah, true.
And it's also cheaper in the sense that here, when we give the example of a bank, we said that the bank will charge you interest for the amount of money that you borrow. But where does that interest go to?
To them.
To them, or the shareholders of the bank.
Yeah, true.
But in this case, in the case of a peer bank, who are the shareholders?
It is us, me and my 10 girlfriends.
Exactly. So to whom does that interest belong?
To us.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that interest now forms more capital in the pool to be borrowed, or can be paid out as dividends to the members. Then the second thing, because there has to be learning involved for the production tool to work, we must ensure that the income being generated from the production tool is higher than the interest being paid back to the peer bank.
The income being generated from the production tool is?
Yes, greater than the interest being paid into the peer bank. This is what I mean. Assuming that you take, one of our members takes 100,000 shillings to buy a cow, and your girlfriend is buying this cow so that she can produce milk from it. And the peer bank gives her terms of, you'll pay in, let's say, 10 months.
Yeah.
So 10 months, that means 10,000 shillings every month, with an interest of, let's say, 5,000 shillings.
Yeah.
So the cost of that money to the peer member is 5,000 shillings. So that is the cost that they are incurring for borrowing that money, which they have to pay back. This is just for illustration purposes.
Yeah, true.
So we're saying if the cow is the production tool or the capital that will generate income, then it must generate for her an amount more than 5,000 shillings.
Exactly true.
So that she is benefiting and the peer bank is benefiting.
Wow.
So that we don't have a case where it's the peer bank that is benefiting.
And she's not
And she's
actually
not benefiting.
making anything.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Wow, that is very clear on peer banking and the normal banking that we know, and also on the Chamas.
Yes.
So what is the skills or productivity tools, and in this term, credit model?
Okay. So as I have tried to explain, now the peer bank will have a model that involves three things. That first you have to have the skills. After the skills, then you look for the production tool. Then after you've looked for the production tool, that is when you get the credit.
Wow.
So the credit helps you to acquire the production tool. And the skill you have, or the skills you have,
run
the production tool.
Okay. Nice.
So if your girlfriend
now
wants...
the productivity tool for clarity is the
cow, for
the
instance,
cow.
in this case.
You know, we talk of cash cow. It is the cow that is giving you the milk.
Exactly. This is the physical cow, not the cash cow. And it could be, for someone, it could be the motorbike, the Nduthi.
That's a productivity
That's
tool.
a productivity tool. For someone else, it could be a laptop.
Interesting. Now it is making very,
it's making
very
sense.
clear sense.
But before now, so because there is a problem
because you have to have a goal as to why you're
Exactly.
accessing this credit.
Yes.
Awesome.
Because there's a problem with, like, there's no shortage of credit.
There's no shortage.
Yeah, if you look at your phone, there'll be hundreds of apps trying to give you credit.
It is so true.
So people go for credit, then they look for something to do, then somewhere they might look for the skills or not even look for the skills. But here we want to change that model. So that, first of all, you have the skills. Then the skills must align with the production tool that you want to have.
Exactly.
If it's the laptop, are you doing it for graphic design, online marketing, web design?
Yeah,
so that is the skill now you have.
Yeah, true.
So the skill that now you will require a tool that you shall utilize the skill with. That is your laptop.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Assuming me and my peer banking girls, my productivity tool is, let's say, a tailoring machine because I have a curtains shop.
Yes.
Another one needs a computer, or let's say a laptop.
Yes.
Another one will need maybe a cab, a taxi.
Yes. Yes.
So how do we now decide on, because our productivity tools do not necessarily have to equal each other in terms of like strength.
Yes.
Somebody looking for a taxi, I am looking for a machine, another lady who's a web designer looking for a laptop. How do you address that challenge?
Good question. So the process of formation, one, there has to be a group of people, 10 or more, or the number that you're comfortable with, who are either business associates, work colleagues, or what we call common goal friends. Then the second step is operations, where each member, to be a subscriber of the peer bank, have to contribute a certain agreed amount.
Okay.
When we go to the lower levels, that is the table, what we call the merry-go-rounds and the chamas, they contribute as little as 100 shillings, 200 shillings. But now when we come to the level of peer banking,
we're talking of
1,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings, 5,000 shillings. So the second step is now that our operation involves us subscribing to the peer bank with that amount of money. Then the third step is accountability, that each of and every one of your 10 girlfriends is supposed to be accountable to each and every one of the 9 others. Are you paying the contributions on time? If you have this productivity tool idea that you're thinking about, have you already acquired the skill sets that will help you to to execute it? So there has to be that accountability amongst yourselves.
True.
Then there has to be growth. So we might start with, growth is a series of steps. It's not one big jump.
Yeah, true.
So your question was, if everyone wants something, will the money be enough? And I'll answer it this way. Yes, and sometimes no, but should still be able to make it available. If you are 10 of you. Let's say you contribute 5,000 shillings each. So how much are you contributing every month?
That's 50.
That's 50,000.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
After 2 months,
We have 100.
after 3 months.
150.
So in the period of 3 months, if it was all contribution, and then as people are acquiring skills and trying to figure out what production tool best suits me. One person wants a sewing machine, another one wants a laptop, another one wants maybe something else. Don't you think there will be enough money already? Probably, yeah? If someone can, maybe someone can wait for the 4th month, for instance, when you have 200,000. And people don't have to take the loans at once.
Exactly.
It's when you have the need and you know that whatever investment you're going to make, you've already done all the verification procedures and you're sure this is the production tool.
Yeah, true.
And as it grows, it means that every other month after that, there'll be the principal contribution that you're making. There'll be the repayments that you'll be making.
Yeah.
There'll also be the interest that you're making.
Wow. That I'm being charged and
Exactly.
contributing now into the
Exactly.
Chama. Nice.
So if you look at the peer bank in 3 months, you'll be missing the big picture.
Okay.
If you look at it after 1 year,
then
I
it
mean,
will make a lot of sense.
it will make a lot of sense. The amounts will be unimaginable.
And
The
especially if
interest
you have
generated will be
good
unimaginable.
groups of people who are contributing large amounts of money.
Exactly.
Wow, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
But
nice.
remember, the model is the skills first, the production tool next, and then the
Getting
credit.
the credit.
Yeah, and then that's where the peer bank comes in. It gives you the credit to not to consume, but to invest in a production tool, which you already have the skill set to make it work.
Exactly. So how do we then now convert our Chama, me and my girlfriends, into now a peer bank or into a bank?
Okay, one, as an organization, as you said, this program is sponsored by
Ufalme Wetu.
Ufalme Wetu and Dhahabu Creations.
Yeah.
So Ufalme Wetu has a platform, an online platform. If you check ufalmewetu.com, you'll find the online platform. And we have the necessary technical plus training know-how. Our motto is PEAK. We say we PEAK, that is PEAK, which is practical entrepreneurship assimilation knowledge. So we'll train you on practical knowledge systems, because we know everyone has learned something in class, economics, accounting, finance, but in the real world, that knowledge doesn't always necessarily work out.
It is true. That is very, and I think until you get into business.
Yes, and having a group of people who have tried business, failed once, failed twice, and eventually made it. So there's that skills level that you can now learn from us and be able to convert now your Chama into a peer bank. And also we we encourage people to seek knowledge from elsewhere. If you're a consumer of content in form of TikTok and YouTube and other sources, I mean, there's so much relevant information and skills that can help you to be able now to start thinking at that level. You stop thinking at the level of merry-go-rounds and chamas, you start thinking about peer banking. You start using the model of skills, production tool, credit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are the functional and operational dynamics of a peer bank?
Okay, one, if I might go back to the example that I was giving you, a peer bank looks at sustainability beyond maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 years. Meaning that the bank that you're forming, it would be a wish that you leave it maybe even to your kids, or you leave it to someone else, or you be in it for the rest of your life. And so the functionality being such that at one point, the amount of money that you have, you might not be able there might not be enough appetite for it within the group.
Yeah, true.
So meaning in a period of 5 or more years, the organization or the peer bank can now start acquiring items or assets that generate income passively, like rental property or land for speculation purposes or any other investment that will earn, because that is what even the banks do. The money that they do not lend, they invest it. Some in the treasury bills we are talking about, etc. So we're not looking at an organization that will last for a year and then everyone takes back their capital and goes away. We are looking at something that will have a life beyond even the members.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. So what kind of loans should members of a peer bank expect?
Good question. Now, we have already talked about the model, skills, production tool, and the credit. So credit, therefore, will be geared or will be moving towards the items that people want to invest in for them to make money. So basically, most people will be in business. So people will want to be boosting businesses, expand business, buy stock, or whatever business entails, and they would want to boost it.
Yeah.
Going to the bank for an overdraft or for a loan might take long and might be very expensive.
Yeah, very true.
Second thing would be lease to own. Lease to own simply means that the peer bank would, instead of maybe guaranteeing the full amount of money, you go to China to look for machinery and everything, the peer bank acquires for you the asset. So by paying monthly installments as if we are leasing, but after the lease period or the installment period, now the full asset turns back to you, like what banks would call asset financing. And basically, we would also use the word asset financing. Any economic production tool asset that a member would want to acquire, then they'll get that kind of credit. So in other words, you'll not get consumption credits. Yeah. But credit to acquire production tool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So is there a platform where people can get more information on peer banking?
Yes. One, if you're watching us, it's either from Mamlaka TV. So this is a platform where we have these weekly discussions where you can learn more, not only about peer banking, but also other aspects of finance.
Yeah, true.
We've already talked about savings, we've talked about debt, investments, taxation, so many other things. The second place you could be watching this from would be from our YouTube channels, Ufalme Wetu, and also Budeka and Hustle Zetu.
Yes.
And we also have a platform online, which is www.ufalmewetu.com. And there's also a phone number that is provided. You can also contact us through that phone number. Yes.
These are for chamas that seek to elevate into peer banks.
Or people, group peers, that want now to be in a peer bank. We won't call it an investment club, we won't call it a merry-go-round, we won't call it table banking, but we shall call it peer banking, because we shall elevate ourselves to that level of thinking, to that level of income, to that level of production.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Again, very informative information. If you seek, or if you're looking, or if you've been thinking as members, who have come together for a common goal, and you're thinking, so how do we elevate? Where do we get this information from? So we have the numbers as has been shared by Mr. Kanani, and we hope that you will be able to place a call to him for him to guide you further. And I saw some files somewhere. You've figured in places like Kisii and all that?
Yes.
You're national wide?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the people are uptaking the program, they finding the benefits.
Okay.
And so if you come to our office, we'll be able to guide you through that. So we have peer banks in Kisumu, in Kisii, in Nairobi, in Murang'a, here in Nakuru, and almost every major town that you might mention of. Wow. The people who have already started, and they are having good reviews.
Wow.
It's profitable to them.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow, awesome. So you can access affordable credit or by joining these platforms. On Ufalme Wetu, tafuteni Mr. Joseph Kanani. He will guide you, he will advise further, and even maybe visit wherever you are in this nation. So that is episode 2 on peer banking. We shall be back with episode 3 in the next episode. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching Money Dialogues. Money Dialogues is sponsored by Ufalme Wetu and the Habo Deco. Bye-bye.
See you.